Have you ever heard of a vitamin capable of dissolving blood clots in your legs and improving circulation naturally, without harsh medications? If you're over 60 or know someone struggling with poor circulation, swollen legs, or tingling, stop what you're doing and listen carefully. This might literally change your life or save it. In this video, you'll discover which essential vitamin has been overlooked by many but holds a silent and impressive power to fight clots, enhance blood flow, and protect your heart. It's not an exotic or expensive vitamin. It's something you might already have at home, but you're likely using it the wrong way. And no, it's not just about popping a pill and that's it. There's a reason ancient doctors used to call this vitamin the artery cleaner. It acts like an internal broom, helping to clear blocked vessels, reduce inflammation, and prevent silent tragedies like thrombosis, heart attacks, and strokes. What few people know is that, as we age, our bodies absorb less and less of this vitamin, exactly when we need it the most. That's why many people begin to experience leg problems, pain while walking, nighttime cramps, cold skin, and unexplained bruises. The deficiency is silent, but the consequences are serious. And if you think that simply eating a balanced diet will solve everything, you're wrong. In many cases, food alone is not enough. But don't worry. Today I'll show you the warning signs of deficiency, how to naturally boost this vitamin, and most importantly, the correct and safe way to use it. So stay with me until the end, because in the final part I'll show you the secret combination that makes this vitamin act up to 3 times more effectively, according to recent studies. And if this topic matters to you, hit the like button now and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss upcoming content about natural health and prevention. Before I reveal the name of this vitamin, it's important to understand why blood clots form more often with age, and how this process can be silent but deadly. As we get older, blood tends to become thicker and less fluid. Blood vessels stiffen, circulation slows down, and plaque and deposits begin to accumulate. The result? A much higher risk of clot formation, even if you feel healthy. A small clot can block a vein and cause deep vein thrombosis. If it detaches, it may travel to the lungs and cause a pulmonary embolism. Or even worse, it could reach the heart or brain and trigger a heart attack or a fatal stroke. The problem is that symptoms often only appear when it's too late. Leg pain, swelling, redness, nighttime cramps. All of this may seem normal or harmless, but it could be a silent warning. That's why knowing about this vitamin is so important. To prevent, not just to treat. According to studies published in reputable medical journals, it acts directly on the clotting process, helping regulate blood thickness and preventing platelets from sticking to the walls of blood vessels. In addition, this vitamin has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect, helping reduce chronic inflammation that contributes to artery hardening. But be careful. Not all forms of this vitamin are effective. Some are poorly absorbed, others don't reach the areas where they're needed most. That's why, soon, I'll explain exactly which specific form has shown the best results and which other nutrient it must be paired with to really work. So stay with me and feel free to comment below if you or someone in your family has ever had circulation problems or clots. Your comment may help someone else who's looking for life-saving information right now. Now yes, let's finally talk about vitamin K2, one of the most underrated yet most powerful vitamins when it comes to cardiovascular protection and blood fluidity. Important. We are not talking about vitamin K1, which is commonly found in leafy green vegetables. K1 is important, but it mainly acts on blood clotting. K2, on the other hand, has a totally different and decisive role. It prevents calcium from building up in the arteries, keeping them clean, flexible, and functional. Imagine your arteries like pipes. Over time, without K2, calcium starts to accumulate in the wrong places, inside blood vessel walls instead of in your bones. This leads to hardening of the arteries, slower circulation, and a higher risk of clot formation. But when vitamin K2 is present in adequate amounts, it redirects that excess calcium into your bones, where it actually belongs. It's like having a traffic officer in your body, bringing order where there was chaos. And there's more. Recent studies have shown that people with sufficient levels of vitamin K2 have a much lower risk of developing arterial calcification, thrombosis, and other cardiovascular issues. In some European countries like the Netherlands, where fermented foods rich in K2 are more commonly consumed, the rates of heart disease are significantly lower. That's not a coincidence. But you may be asking, if K2 is so important, why don't we hear more about it? The answer is simple. It's not profitable for the industry. It can't be patented. It's not widely included in common supplements. And almost no processed food contains it. That's why many people, even with a seemingly healthy diet, live in a state of chronic deficiency without even realizing it. Vitamin K2 deficiency is far more common than people think, especially among older adults. And the symptoms aren't always obvious. You won't feel sharp pain or get a fever. But over time you'll start noticing subtle signs. Heavy legs, visible veins, difficulty walking long distances, frequent bruises, nighttime cramps, and chronic cold feet. All of these may point to slow circulation and something wrong with your blood flow. That's why it's so important not just to know about vitamin K2, but to understand how to supplement it properly. Taking a small dose every now and then is not enough. It's consistency and the correct form that truly make the difference. Studies show that the most bioavailable and effective form of K2 is called -7 Malawian kwaches, a version that stays active in the body longer and reaches the blood vessels more efficiently. But even here there are traps. Many products on the market use synthetic or unstable forms that offer little to no real benefit. The good news is that there are excellent natural sources of K2, and you can start adding them to your diet today. Traditional fermented foods like natto, a Japanese dish, certain aged cheeses, grass-fed butter, and egg yolks all contain meaningful amounts of K2. However, it's difficult to get the optimal daily dose from food alone, especially with today's modern processed diets that lack real nutrients. That's why many orthomolecular doctors and natural cardiologists recommend supplementing K2 in the -7 Malawian kwaches form, always paired with vitamin D3, which works in synergy to direct calcium in the body. Together, these two vitamins form a powerful duo for protecting your arteries, bones, and heart. But hold on. In the next section, I'll explain the most common mistakes people make when taking this vitamin, and why it often doesn't work as expected. One of the most common mistakes people make is taking vitamin K2 without pairing it with healthy fats. This vitamin is fat-soluble, which means it needs to be consumed with a source of fat in order to be properly absorbed by your body. Taking it on an empty stomach or with a low-fat meal dramatically reduces its absorption. It's not enough to simply swallow the capsule. Your body has to actually absorb it. And that only happens if there's a good fat present, such as extra virgin olive oil, avocado, nuts, or even a whole egg. This is a detail that many people overlook, and it's exactly why thousands of seniors take expensive supplements without getting any real benefit. Another common mistake is using the wrong dosage or unstable forms. Many brands use low-quality ingredients or doses so tiny they fall well below the threshold needed to make a clinical difference. The most studied and effective dose of -7 Malawian kwaches is between 90 and 200 micrograms per day, depending on age and health status. And as mentioned before, pairing it with vitamin D3 is essential to maximize results. Without it, your body may absorb calcium, but won't know where to properly send it. And maybe you're thinking, but if I already take calcium and vitamin D, aren't I covered? And the answer is, not if you're not also taking vitamin K2. Because vitamin D increases calcium absorption, but it's K2 that tells your body where to put that calcium. Without K2, the calcium you absorb could end up exactly where it shouldn't, in your arteries, increasing your risk of calcification, blockages, and heart problems. That's why in recent years, vitamin K2 has been called the missing link in modern supplementation. And if you already take vitamin D or are thinking about it, don't skip this crucial piece of the puzzle. In the next section, I'll show you the silent signs that your body may already be suffering from K2 deficiency, even if your lab results look normal. Many people live with a vitamin K2 deficiency without ever realizing it. And unfortunately, routine blood tests rarely detect this problem. You can have a full checkup with all results within normal range, and still be silently accumulating calcium in the wrong places, in your arteries, joints, or even kidneys. The early signs come slowly, which is why they're often overlooked. Do your legs feel heavier as time goes by? Do you get tired after walking just a short distance? Have your veins become more visible? Do you get nighttime foot pain or unexplained bruises? These could be a combination of slow circulation, overly thick blood, and partially blocked arteries. And this is exactly when vitamin K2 can make the difference between a reversible problem and permanent damage. In fact, many people report that after starting to supplement properly with K2, they began to feel lighter legs, fewer cramps, and even more energy to walk long distances. That's because the blood begins to flow more easily, delivering oxygen and nutrients more efficiently to the extremities. Even the appearance of the skin on the legs improves. That purplish, cold, dull tone starts to fade, giving way to healthier, warmer skin. All thanks to a vitamin that had been ignored. But remember, no vitamin works miracles on its own. K2 is powerful, yes, but the results are even more impressive when you cut out certain silent enemies from your diet that sabotage circulation, such as trans fats, excess sugar, and ultra-processed foods. That's why in the next section, I'll explain which specific foods you need to reduce or eliminate if you truly want to clear your veins, protect your heart, and dissolve clots before it's too late. It's not enough to simply add a vitamin and hope for a miracle. Because while vitamin K2 works to improve your circulation and prevent clots, there are foods and habits silently sabotaging all that effort. And the worst part is, many of these foods seem completely harmless. The first big culprit is refined sugar, found in sweets, soft drinks, breakfast cereals, cookies, and even many so-called diet products. Excess sugar triggers inflammation in the blood vessels, damages artery walls, and contributes to hardening, the exact opposite of what K2 is trying to fix. The second invisible enemy is trans fats, commonly found in margarine, processed baked goods, packaged snacks, and fried foods made with cheap oils. These fats damage your cells, raise bad cholesterol, and worsen circulation. And even though companies use complicated names on labels, the truth is, trans fats are everywhere. If you really want your vitamin K2 to work, you need to eliminate or drastically reduce these foods. Another habit that silently harms circulation is sedentary behavior. Sitting for long hours every day, especially for seniors, causes blood to pool in the legs, increasing the risk of deep vein thrombosis. Just a simple walk for 15 to 30 minutes a day can boost blood flow and activate your circulatory system. And when that's combined with proper use of vitamin K2, you're creating a real shield against clots and cardiovascular events. And here's an essential point. If you're in a risk group, over 60, have a family history of thrombosis, high blood pressure, diabetes, or varicose veins, don't wait for a serious symptom to take action. Prevention starts now. And in the next section, I'll show you a simple natural routine you can follow daily to improve circulation, protect your legs, and strengthen your arteries. All at low cost and with lasting results. Here's a simple daily routine you can start today to strengthen your circulation and naturally prevent clots. Step 1, of course, is to take vitamin K2 in the -7 Malawian kwacha's form, ideally in doses between 90 and 200 micrograms per day, according to recent recommendations. If possible, always pair it with vitamin D3, at a dose between 1000 to 2000 IU, unless your doctor advises otherwise. These two vitamins work in synergy to protect your arteries and improve calcium delivery to the bones. Step 2 is to take these vitamins with a meal that includes healthy fats. As mentioned before, without dietary fat, absorption can be minimal. Add a spoonful of olive oil, some nuts, fatty fish, or a whole egg to increase effectiveness. Step 3. Move at least 20 minutes a day. You don't need to join a gym. A daily walk, preferably in the morning or late afternoon, will boost circulation and prevent blood from pooling in your legs. Step 4. Stay hydrated. Well-hydrated blood flows more easily. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, slower, and more prone to clotting. Always keep a bottle of water with you and remember to drink even when you're not thirsty. Finally, step 5, which many people ignore, is to avoid long periods of sitting without movement. If you sit at a desk or on the couch for hours, get up at least once every hour, walk for a bit, do some stretching, or simply move your legs. When done consistently, these simple habits can radically transform your circulatory health. And when combined with proper supplementation, like vitamin K2, the effects can be felt within just a few weeks. Lighter legs, less pain, more energy, reduced tingling. In the next section, I'll tell you a real-life story of a man who nearly lost his leg to a clot, and how he reversed the condition with simple, natural changes. A 67-year-old man named Carlo had just retired and was living what seemed like a quiet life. He didn't smoke, didn't drink, and went for walks from time to time. But he started to notice a constant pain in his left leg, a feeling of heaviness and burning that got worse throughout the day. He thought it was just fatigue or bad posture. But one morning, he woke up with his leg swollen, red, and hot to the touch. He was rushed to the hospital. The diagnosis: deep vein thrombosis. A blood clot was blocking the flow in his vein, and doctors feared it could break loose and reach his lungs. Carlo spent days in the hospital, shocked and scared, taking strong anticoagulants with a constant risk of complications. And the scariest part: he had never had any obvious symptoms before. After being discharged, he promised himself he would change. He was guided by a functional cardiologist to follow a simple routine with vitamin K2, vitamin D3, gentle walks, clean eating and hydration. In less than 2 months, follow-up tests showed significant improvement in his circulation, and the remaining symptoms disappeared completely. What happened to Carlo is more common than you think. Thousands of people live with silent clots that grow slowly and are only discovered when they cause acute pain, embolism, or paralysis. The good news is that there's a lot you can do before that happens. Vitamin K2 is not a miracle. It's science. It's prevention. And it can be the difference between an active life and a routine of medications and hospital visits. So if you're still watching this, know that this knowledge can save your life or someone you love. In the next section, I'll share the 5 most ignored signs of poor leg circulation that indicate real clot risk. Signs that 90% of people overlook or simply think are part of aging. Many people think circulation problems only show up as intense pain or visible emergencies. But in reality, the body sends signals much earlier, subtle warnings that, if ignored, can turn into serious conditions. Here are the 5 most common and underestimated signs that your leg circulation may be impaired and that clots might already be forming. First sign: a feeling of heaviness in your legs, especially at the end of the day. If every evening your legs feel tired, tense, or full, even without much physical effort, this may indicate that your blood isn't flowing properly. Second sign: frequent nighttime cramps. Leg cramps while sleeping aren't always harmless. They can be a sign of thick blood, low oxygen levels, or restricted vein flow. Third sign: changes in skin tone on your legs or feet, such as colder than normal skin, pale or bluish areas, or purplish patches. These changes show that blood isn't reaching your extremities as it should. Fourth sign: tingling or numbness. If your legs often feel asleep, even without pressure or compression, this may mean circulation is weak or that a clot is starting to block the flow. Fifth sign: visible, enlarged or painful veins. Even if they're not true varicose veins, more pronounced veins can be an early sign of venous insufficiency. And if left unaddressed, this condition increases the risk of clots and deep vein thrombosis. If you recognize yourself in any of these signs, don't panic, but also don't ignore them. Prevention is key, and there's still time to turn everything around with simple choices, like introducing vitamin K2 along with habits that support healthy circulation. In the next section, I'll tell you the best time of day to take this vitamin and how to maximize its protective effects on your legs and your heart. To get the full benefit of vitamin K2, timing matters. As mentioned earlier, K2 is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it should be taken with a meal that contains healthy fats. Ideally, you should take it in the morning or at lunchtime, when your metabolism is more active and digestion is more efficient. Avoid taking it on an empty stomach or late at night, when your body is less prepared to absorb nutrients. Another crucial point: be consistent. Many people start taking a supplement and stop after a few days, or only take it occasionally. Vitamin K2 works gradually and accumulatively. It's through daily, regular use over several weeks that its effects take hold, slowly dissolving arterial buildup and improving blood flow. And remember, if you take vitamin D3, the best results come when it's taken at the same time as K2, since they work in synergy to manage calcium properly. And if you're taking prescription blood thinners like warfarin or similar medications, do not start vitamin K2 on your own. K2 directly affects clotting processes, and it can either enhance or reduce the effects of your medication. In these cases, medical supervision is essential. However, for people who are not on anticoagulants and want to prevent cardiovascular issues, K2 is generally considered safe and extremely beneficial, as long as you take the correct dose and, ideally, have some professional guidance. In the next section, I'll answer one of the most common questions. How long should I take vitamin K2? And I'll also explain what happens inside your body after a few weeks of consistent use, based on the latest clinical studies. One of the most frequent questions is, how long should I take vitamin K2? And the answer is simple. It depends on your goal. If you're using K2 as a preventive support, you can take it in cycles of 3 to 6 months, take a short break and resume. But many people, especially those over 60, choose to take it continuously, since its cardiovascular and circulatory benefits increase over time. Studies show that after 8 to 12 weeks of regular use, measurable changes begin to appear in the body. Improved arterial elasticity, reduced vascular calcification, and better blood flow. In addition, many report lighter legs, fewer cramps, less swelling, and healthier skin tone in the legs. Others notice improvements in blood pressure and overall vitality. But remember, vitamin K2 is not a miracle cure. It's a powerful tool for prevention that works best alongside a conscious lifestyle. Getting quality sleep, eating real food, moving daily, and staying hydrated complete the picture. And now that you have all this knowledge, let me ask you directly. Are you doing enough to protect your blood, your legs, and your heart? If this video helped you, leave a comment below with your age or share if you've had circulation problems before. Your comment could help someone who's searching for natural solutions and doesn't know where to begin. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming content on natural health. And share this video with someone who needs it. Vitamin K2 may not be famous, but it could make a huge difference in your life.